Watson, number 15, Amani Hansberry, and number 32, Mikey Square Jr. The head coach for St. John's, Pat Behan. And on the other side, for the Dematha Catholic Stags, number 0, Earl Timberlake. Number 1, Hunter Dickinson. Number 3, Elijah Hawkins. Number 5, Will Reynolds. And number 24, Jordan Hawkins. The head coach for Dematha, Mike Jones, in his 17th season. Now this matchup between two of the top 50 teams in the Ball is Live FAB 50. Current number 5 in the country, Dematha Catholic, and current number 32 in St. John's. Welcome into our broadcast booth on Monumental Sports Network. Dan Nolan alongside Neil Murphy. And Neil, we've got a big-time game today. Dematha coming off a really big victory over a rival against Gonzaga last weekend. They've had a game since then that they've won as well. St. John's, though, one of the surprise teams entering this matchup. What do you expect from tonight's game? Just another great WCAC matchup. Certainly St. John's in the top 4. You take those 4 teams, Gonzaga, pull the 6, St. John's, Dematha. Anybody can beat anybody, and that's why it's such a great league. Over the weekend, not only did Dematha defeat Gonzaga, it was also St. John's defeating Gonzaga just a couple days ago, a 53-49 victory. The WCAC standings are interesting right now. Dematha at 15-0, we'll get to that in a little bit. But after that, pretty big log jam there for the 2nd through 5th. Paul the 6th currently in 2nd at 13-4, St. John's at 13-5, Gonzaga at 12-5, and then just behind them, Good Counsel at 11-5. So every win counts. St. John's can really separate themselves and get some improvement in the win column with a win tonight. Big game here tonight. Also a big game down on I Street with PVI playing at Gonzaga. So Dematha wins the opening tip, and we're underway on the high school basketball showcase on Monumental Sports Network. We thank those for watching on Monumental Sports Network as well as Facebook. That feed inside knocked out of the hands of Dickinson, number 1 in gray. Dematha in gray, St. John's in black tonight. The Cadets with their first possession of the ball game in the hands of number 5, Ish Leggett. He's the guy to keep your eye on. And then inside to the freshman, Amani Hansberry, arguably the second best player on this team, fell well short on that attempt. From three-point land, that one is good. And for the 3rd consecutive Monumental Sports Network broadcast of Dematha, Hunter Dickinson hits the Mountain Dew kickstart, first 3 of the game. I remember when Bill Cartwright played for the Bulls, they made sure Bill got the first touch in every game because he wasn't going to see it after that. A little different with Hunter. Hunter Dickinson, you get your big man involved early, not necessarily from distance, but he feels confident with that shooting stroke. Big man floater right there from Hansberry, number 15 in black, doesn't go. Possession will remain, though, with St. John's. So an exciting first couple minutes here. Drive inside off the glass. It looked like it was tipped by Dickinson. Doesn't matter. That's Mikey Square Jr., number 32, with his first bucket. Nice move by Mikey. Got it in the lane, kissed it off the glass. Dickinson leaves it, but travels before he passes to number 3 in gray, Elijah Hawkins. I think Elijah got so excited there, did the double step up there. 3-2 early, 6:30 remaining in the first of a big-time WCAC game. The middle of February, every game counts at this stage of the season. Of course, everyone always wants to get a victory in this conference. Nearly loses the handle, another floater. This time it's from number 3, Manzi Wilson. Can't get it to go. So a number of floaters as they're driving into the paint so far for St. John's. Why do you think that is, instead of trying to take an extra step and get a layup? Because they've seen tape on Hunter Dickinson and Earl Timberlake. They defend the basket very well. So the size advantage, something to always keep an eye on with Dematha. Though this St. John's team very long. There's Timberlake, number 0 in gray. He'll leave it. Driving into the paint, number 5 in gray. They're going to call a travel on Will Reynolds. Stag's a little stagnant with their offense. You know, they're looking to post up Hunter Dickinson inside. Everybody's standing around not doing much. Neil Murphy, basketball expert and pun aficionado. You got to pay attention all the time. Wilson finds Square. He'll send it over to Christian Watson, number 11 in black. Ish Leggett Drives into the painted area. They're going to call him for the travel as he was trying to dish it out.
Tried to create something that wasn't there. Again, the double tap on the foot, walk out of bounds, Dematha ball.
St. John's, one of the surprise teams in the country this season at 22-6. Again, ranked in the top 50 in the country. Entered the season outside of those rankings, but a couple big-time victories over some of the best teams in the country in December catapulted them up the slots. And that's a big-time slam from Hunter Dickinson. He's got all 5 points for the Stags.
Tough feed from perimeter, gave it to Hunter down where he likes it best. Both feet in the lane, was able to finish.
Wilson will give it to Leggett. Guarded tightly by number 24, Jordan Hawkins. Turnaround jump shot is up and good. How about that one from the freshman Hansberry?
Tough shot, high release, fading away, bottom of the net.
Almost looks like he has an extra hitch before he releases that basketball. Timberlake, double team, so he'll get it to Dickinson. Fakes his man out, drives into the painted area, and they're going to call it an and one. The big man with some nice handles.
We saw the beginnings of that the other night against Gonzaga. The big shot fake got in the lane, was a little clumsy. I think it was an offensive foul that night. The other night. Here he'll go to the line for the N1.
So Dickinson will try to complete the three-point play the old-fashioned way, and he gets that one to go. The score now 8-4, Hunter Dickinson.
Another good start for Hunter Dickinson.
Dickinson committed to Michigan after a long time mulling over his options from nearly every blue blood program. That corner three-pointer is off the rim, no good. Offensive rebound, second chance goes. That's Manzi Wilson.
Tough finish inside, got the offensive rebound, was in among the trees, laid it in.
3 different players have scored so far for St. John's. Dickinson from distance once again. This guy's on fire to start the game. 11 points already for Hunter Dickinson.
I think Hunter's going to renegotiate his contract here. Coach, I'm a three-man. He may never get another rebound.
Feed inside. Hansberry gets that one to go, his second bucket.
Tough move by the freshman. The thing I noticed in watching him, he's not afraid of the contact. The athletic ability is there. He's long and lanky, but he's not afraid of banging in there.
He definitely attacks the glass as well. Is coming out partying in December against some of the best teams. A couple of double-doubles against Bullis in the Hoop Fest tournament. And Poly, and again, another three. 3 for 3 from distance for Hunter Dickinson. 14 points already.
If you're Dematha, you're almost a little nervous. They're coming too easy for him.
On the other end, defending the freshman, Leggett drives inside. And they're going to say a foul on the floor against number 24, Jordan Hawkins. Hawkins has done a pretty nice job in the early going, really getting in front of Leggett.
Well, I've noticed Coach Jones has confidence in him. Jordan Hawkins, new man to the program, and usually the last thing that comes around with defense, he usually has him guarding one of their best perimeter players. Ish Liggett is as good as there is in the league as a wing player. He makes St. John's go.
Just checking into the game, number 2, Donovan Miller in place of number 5, Will Reynolds for Dematha. Another feed inside, turnaround hook shot, rattles around, goes in. Hansberry's off to a nice start. That's 6 points for him.
Freshman is doing a great job in the paint against Hunter, who's obviously as big as an obstacle as there is in the league.
Hansberry, once again, just a freshman, but has solidified himself as one of the best players on St. John's over the course of the season. Hawkins gives it to Dickinson. He's feeling it, and his first miss rattling off the iron will give St. John's a 4-on-2 opportunity, and they're unable to capitalize. Square gets it to Hansberry. He's looking for Leggett. Opts to nearly double dribble, but somehow keeps his handle, and he finishes the and one opportunity.
And there's what we were talking about. He loves the contact. Went right at Hunter, drew the contact, laid it in.
So in the early going of the season, he had an offer from Rhode Island, and they went down to the Beach Ball Classic in Myrtle Beach. They played Poly, the number 15 ranked team in the country, Long Island Lutheran out of New York, the number 14th ranked team in the country, and Dorman out of South Carolina, number 13, as that free throw is unable to go in. Hansberry went for 19-11 against Poly and 14-7 against Dorman. And he got an offer from Virginia Tech right after that tournament. And he's continued to play well in the WCAC. Hawkins, mid-range. Gets it to go.
Nice baseline screen by Timberlake, freeing up Jordan Hawkins for the baby jumper.
And nearly stolen and then knocked out of bounds by Dematha. 24 seconds on the shot clock. You mentioned Hawkins' mid-range game. He hasn't been able to really get it going in the first half, it seems like, in the last couple of games. Basket like that could be good for his confidence. And speaking of, that could be good for Leggett's confidence. His first bucket.
Good move by Leggett. Got all the way to the rim, laid it in.
16-14 game now. Leggett committed to Rhode Island. He'll play there next year. Dish to the corner. Now Timberlake will swing it around. Taking down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. And that's how you handle the basketball.
Great penetration against the zone by Elijah Hawkins. Found a big guy, 2 feet in the lane. Easy bucket for Dematha.
16 points for Hunter Dickinson. Leggett gets every pick set. 4 defenders around him. Timberlake gets the steal. In transition the other way. Reverse layup. Just gets it to roll in, does number 3, Elijah Hawkins.
A little bit of extra spin on that one. Great pass ahead to Hawkins.
So a nice finish in transition. A 6-point lead. 1 minute remaining in the opening quarter here in Hyattsville, Maryland.
I'm watching Hansberry post up. He does such a great job. Spreads his arms. The old goal post keeps Hunter Dickinson off it.
Awkward jump shot there for number 1, Shane Lancaster. And then going the other way, Timberlake off the backboard from distance. Couldn't get it to go somehow. Ends up in the hands of who else? Hunter Dickinson. He's now up to 18 points.
Exactly the way Coach Jones drew that one up.
So it looks like there's about 6 seconds difference between game clock and shot clock. And St. John's has done a nice job against everybody but Dickinson. Timberlake with the block that time.
Malik Mack with the good penetration. Another freshman getting major minutes for the Cadets. Was able to get in there. Earl Timberlake was able to come over and help.
What do you think of Malik Mack's game? Because he clearly doesn't have the size quite yet, but he really does have some speed and nice ball handling.
He makes it happen. He's one of those guys that's hard to guard. He can shoot it. He's left-handed. Keeps you a little off balance. He's going to have a great career here.
Malik Mack, number 2 in black for St. John's, just a freshman in the lineup. Meanwhile, Manzi Wilson, number 3 in black. Nice feed inside, but Timberlake is there for the block and doesn't foul. That's great body control on defense, and then going the other way. Dishes to the corner. 3-pointer rattles off. Follow is good for Dickinson, and that's going to do it right at the end of the first quarter. Dematha leads by 10, thanks in large part to, and I'm not kidding here, folks, 20 points in the first quarter for Hunter Dickinson. The Michigan commit is balling out for the Stags. It's Dematha on top of St. John's by 10. We'll be right back for second quarter after this. And welcome back. Dematha 24, St. John's 14 after one quarter here in Hyattsville, Maryland. And the pep band is getting the fans on their feet. Pretty good crowd here tonight in Hyattsville, Maryland. Dan Nolan, Neil Murphy, streaming live on Monumental Sports Network as well as Facebook. As a reminder, you can subscribe to Monumental Sports Network at getmonumental.com for all the best high school basketball in the area, boys and girls basketball. We've seen a ton over the course of the year. A few great games in this gym, not only in regular season action for Dematha, but in early December for National Hoop Fest that took place here in Washington, D.C. Some of the best teams in the country competed there, including Dematha Catholic, who entering today was number 5 in the country. They haven't lost in a long time, since December 12th. If they are to win tonight, it would be their 20th straight victory. An impressive feat at any level, but especially given the tough schedule for Dematha. Tough body control, a nice finish for Ish Leggett.
Hung in the air to the defender, fell off him, was able to kiss it in.
Number 12 in gray, Jacoy Hutchinson, now in the game in the corner for Dematha. Miller, number 2 in gray, gets it up top to the man who was red hot in the first quarter. Feed inside from the big man, goes off the rim. St. John's pushing the pace. Thinks about the elbow jump shot. Hansberry able to gather it. Can't get the layup to go. Now the other way. Tyrell Ward, number 15 in gray, dishes it over to Hutchinson. He'll set the offense. Trying to find somebody. And ball poked out of the hands of number 22 in gray, Jarrell Robertson, on going the other way. No basket, but free throws coming for Christian Watson, number 11.
So often that happens. Turnover on one end leads to a fast break opportunity for the defense.
So Watson will go to the line. Offers from George Washington, George Mason, Howard, Stony Brook. A lot of good schools in the DMV area. Giving him a look. That first free throw is good for Watson. And to keep with the theme for St. John's, we've mentioned a couple freshmen. Watson, just a sophomore. So there are 3 seniors in this St. John's starting lineup, but once you get past that, you're looking at a lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomores.
Yeah, they don't have any juniors on the team, so these younger players are going to comprise next year's team.
And then the lone junior that was on their team, James Wood, an outstanding baseball player, actually just transferred to IMG Academy down in Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah, they say he has pro potential as a baseball player. His dad was a great college player at Richmond.
Drive into the paint. No good for Hutchinson. And going the other way is Malik Mack, number 2 in black. He gets it over to Wilson. Wilson, nice fake. Finds his man inside. How about that pass and the finish for Watson?
Great find in traffic among the trees there.
So Manzi Wilson with a nice dime. And the lead is down to 5. Before that finish was a travel for number 23, Jason Moore, another freshman that's playing in this game.
That was either a walk or a Euro step. I can never tell the difference.
Neil Murphy is not a big fan of the Euro step.
Well, did they change the rules at some point? Like in the mid-'80s, did things change?
It's an international game now, Neil. Hansberry. Nice post-up hook shot right over the outstretched arms of Moore.
He is tough. He's a rare combination. He's got finesse, but he's also got the strength.
Dickinson had 20 in the first quarter, but already Hansberry's up to 10. Post player is doing a nice job in this game. Timberlake, fadeaway three-pointer, somehow kisses off the glass. You think he called bang?
Well, you're on the 45-degree angle. That's what you want to do. Sometimes you get lucky.
He's been paying attention to math class. He got an A in geometry. All about the angles. In the corner, it's Watson, guarded tightly by Miller. Hansberry decides to pass this time. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Wilson lost the handle for a second. He swings it. Square drives in. Somehow he gets to his man.
Wow.
And the dunk may not have gone, but Watson somehow gets the ball to go in.
It looked like he came from out of bounds or from the band there to get in there, but another good finish along the baseline.
27-23, Stags on top of the Cadets on a Tuesday night in the DMV. Number 24, Jordan Hawkins, feeds it inside. That's Moore once again, this time to the corner for Miller. Miller from distance.
Great look by Jason Moore. Had it inside, drew a crowd, found the open shooter.
Used to seeing Miller be a facilitator, but that time showing his range. Hansberry has the ball stripped, gathers it. There's some contact. They're going to say it's a foul on the shot by Jason Moore, number 23, and so to the free throw line will go Amani Hansberry.
Maybe a good call, maybe a bad call, but there were several opportunities there to blow the whistle.
A lot of physical contact down low, and number 23 in gray, Jason Moore, not afraid of contact. He'll be playing Division I football in 3 years' time. First free throw is no good for Hansberry. Offers from Alabama, Michigan, Penn State, among other schools for Jason Moore. And once again, just a freshman, one of many talented players on Dematha's football team. And for National Signing Day, double-digit Dematha commits to play at the next level just a week ago.
Coach McGregor not only does a great job on the sidelines, he gets our kids in college.
McGregor returning to the sideline for Dematha after a long absence. Guess Of course, a legendary coach on the football field for Dematha over the years. Moore thinks about the shot. He gets it back out to Hawkins. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Hawkins will dish it out to Reynolds. Reynolds finds Moore inside. A lot of contact, no foul. Rebound is going to go to Hansberry. They're going to say it's a jump ball, though, and so the possession arrow goes to the Stags. And after that last rebound fight, it'll be Dickinson checking back into the game for Dematha. Moore will take a break on the bench.
Coach Jones has got to be happy. Obviously, Hunter's having a great game, but he was able to get him a good couple minutes rest there. He should be fresh.
Timberlake, post up, and they're going to call an offensive foul. That's what happens when you're a big guy like Earl Timberlake. Moves like that, they get called a little bit easier.
Well, he went straight at him. If he moves a little laterally, the referee's going to give him a little bit more room to bump into him, but he went straight at his chest. St. John's just fell backwards, took the charge.
It was Ish Leggett who took the charge. The senior, savvy, over 1,000 points for his career at St. John's. He was one of 4 players in D.C. to be nominated for the McDonald's All-American game. Only player to qualify for that game was Jeremy Roach out of Paul VI. And bench is taking some time to talk over as they were, I think, taking a look at the clock. This team runs through Ish Leggett, the man with the basketball. He's had a really good year for St. John's, and if he gets to that 15 to 17 point threshold, St. John's generally is in a good position to win. Drive to the basket with 10 seconds on the clock, and it's Manzi Wilson who gets a second bucket.
Tough shot in the paint. Obviously, he's not the biggest guy out there, so get in there and shoot it in the key is really hard.
Feed inside to Dickinson, foul on the floor against Wilson. And Wilson, another senior leader on this team. He's got offers from Stony Brook, JMU, Robert Morris, New Mexico, among others. That's number 3 in black, Manzi Wilson. Two of my favorite nicknames in high school basketball, Manzi Wilson and Mikey Square, both on the same team at St. John's. Timberlake using the body to his benefit on that position.
Better job that time with the body. Strong finish inside by Timberlake.
5 points for the Miami commit in this first half, and they're going to call that an over and back. Perhaps losing awareness of where the ball was for Wilson.
As a coach, those are the ones that drive you crazy. Nothing really going on there, just got a little careless.
We thank those that are watching on Monumental Sports Network as well as Facebook, the WGL High School Basketball Showcase on Monumental Sports Network.
St. John's in the zone.
And Dematha swinging it around the perimeter. Down to 12 seconds on the shot clock. Ball knocked out of bounds by St. John's. Dematha's student section on your left. You can see a lot of white shirts. It's a white out for them. It was a red out over the weekend against Gonzaga. All kinds of colors available for the fans here at Dematha. Number of different jerseys, including this gray one that Dematha's wearing today.
Not a bad turnout for the students on a school night.
Dickinson, turnaround as the shot clock expired, but they're going to call an offensive foul before that happened.
Will Reynolds hit the floor in there. Couldn't quite see what was going on, and he got the foul. So he must have been a legal screen in the lane to help free up Hunter Dickinson.
So 6 team fouls for Dematha. Only 2 team fouls for St. John's with 2:37 remaining in the first half. Leggett guarded by Timberlake. Ball ends up in the hands of Lancaster. Lancaster, number 1 in black. Guarded tightly, down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Nice team defense from Dematha. Ends up with a transition opportunity. Fouled on the way up was number 15 in gray, Tyrell Ward. He'll go to the line, shoot 2.
Good D by the Stags to dig it out. Tyrell Ward picked it up on the break. It got tied up, but still able to get the ball up to the rim. He'll go to the line for 2.
The sophomore had a really nice game against Gonzaga, 9 points and a lot of good plays on defense as Dickinson is going to head to the bench, get cleaned up, may have been hit in the nose a little
think a little blood maybe.
A little bit of blood.
Jen Redding, our trainer, the Dematha's trainer's all over it.
First free throw for Ward is good, and as I mentioned before, 9 points for him against Gonzaga over the weekend. 6'5", has a 6'9" wingspan. Just a sophomore, but really showed why a school like Providence would give him an offer this year. Second free throw is good for him. He's got that speed, but his jumper is pretty smooth as well.
He just needs experience. It's all there. You see flashes of it. Other times he maybe hides, defers too much, but that'll come with time.
Pick was set behind half court, and now they're calling a whistle. Not sure on who down low, and the officials are now going to meet, and it looks like there are some warnings being given out, perhaps some jawing on the basketball court between these two teams. Again, maybe not quite as bitter rivals as schools like Dematha and Gonzaga, but certainly a WCAC game between two schools that are very, very good.
And we got a veteran crew out there. Gary Stein has been reffing in this league for years. He's all over it. Stop the problem before it actually becomes one.
Leggett pulls up from distance. Misses everything. Dematha ball. They're up 9 with 2 minutes remaining in this first half. And this was perhaps a game that couldn't be called a trap game for Dematha, but certainly coming off the highs of an emotional win against a rival over the weekend, they would be forgiven for coming in with a little less intensity, but they've really done a nice job, and that's behind 20 points from Hunter Dickinson.
Well, the other thing is Dematha's going through a stretch right now. Some games were canceled a couple weeks ago. They're going to play 7 games in 11 days. So it's hard to be at your peak all the time.
Dickinson fakes the pass, goes in for the slam. His first bucket of the second quarter, make it 22 for the game.
Nice power move, got him on his hip, kept him there.
Has a nice drive off the front of the rim for Manzi Wilson, and then after that a foul is called. So that's now 5 team fouls, 1:30 remaining in the half. So an 11-point lead. Dematha has done a nice job separating themselves in this second quarter. And then the end of that first quarter as well, when they initially built up that double-digit lead. And it was an attempted pass inside from Hawkins, ends up hitting a defender in the butt. And going the other way is Leggett, gets fouled. They're going to call travel.
Walk before the
shot.
foul. Dematha got lucky there. I'm not sure what the plan was for Dematha on the other end.
So it will be Stags basketball once again. We're thankful for the teams that make sure the court surface is clean and dry for the athletes. Don't need anyone slipping. Dickinson swings it over to Hawkins, and that ball just pops right out of his hands. A couple of bad turnovers for Hawkins over the last 2 possessions. Thinks about the 3, decides to pass, does square, and now it's Wilson with the basketball. 44 seconds remaining in the second quarter, 17 seconds on the shot clock. Hansberry, guarded by Dickinson, trying to find someone. He's just going to take it himself now. Nice post move, left-handed finish is there.
Over the right shoulder with the left hand. Didn't look like a freshman on that one.
Couldn't find anyone, decided to take it himself, and Dematha can hold for the last possession of the half now, up 9. Tight defense being played by Leggett on Timberlake. He'll pass it out, and Timberlake is asking.
A little hand-to-hand combat there.
For the official to rule something, and oh no, ball is lost and put on the other end of half court. So an over and back. That's tight defense from the guards of St. John's.
Well, Dematha kept the ball out near half court, so they're playing offense in about a 5-foot square. They couldn't go back. Got to penetrate and then pull it back out to use the clock.
So 3.3 seconds remaining, not a ton of time, and it looks like Leggett's going to have to take the shot, and he couldn't get it off before time expires. So at the end of the first half, the Stags on top of the Cadets, 36-27. We'll have more on Monumental Sports Network's High School Basketball Showcase, powered by WGL, after this. WGL the future of energy.
Stream the best high school basketball in the country on Monumental Sports Network.
The Junior Wizards program will be entering its 3rd season this fall. On top of the summer camps that we see here, we also have clinics that we hold throughout the year. We have coaches education, and we're really looking to hit all aspects of basketball throughout the DMV. To register for any Junior Wizards event, you can sign up today at washingtonwizards.com/juniorwizards.
With a Monumental Sports Network VIP membership, you get access to live games and exclusive shows, plus invites to monthly events with the Wizards and Capitals, and complimentary tickets. Join now at getmonumental.com to start a free VIP membership trial.
Today we're shooting our 2nd annual Wizards Dog Calendar, benefiting the Humane Rescue Alliance.
Jake, he's distracted.
Oh, that's cute.
This partnership is so incredible. We couldn't do the important work at the Humane Rescue Alliance without partners like the Wizards. It's really a great time to see some of these really small dogs with these really tall players.
She only has 3 legs.
She's a cutie.
Polo shoe is really good, especially this year I got my own dog. Definitely a shih tzu, and so it's just seeing the poodle, and I've had him for 6 months now. He's 8 months.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, that's wonderful.
The Wizards Dog Calendar will be on sale at WashingtonWizards.com and at the team store at Capital One Arena.
So I want to say thank you to Coach Merchant at MSU. You helped me a lot when it comes to just growing up as a woman, in my college days. Not only on the court, as a woman, you helped me in so many ways, but on the court, you've helped me get to the place I am here. I just want to thank you for everything you've done and to continue to support me. You text me before and after games, and I really appreciate it more than you know. So thank you, and I'm happy that I came to MSU.
This league was built to break. Built to break new ground, break molds, and shatter expectations. built to break the idea of what it means to grow and to change. Change minds. Change the game. This league was built to break.
Off right wing outside the arc. Bryant for three. It's there. Bryant the basket slam.
Great block by Bryant. Great pass for Bryant.
There's nothing he can't do.
When you're looking at Thomas Bryant now, still be aggressive.
Slam to pass. Wing Troy Brown out to Thomas Bryant for three. It's there.
Bryant will drive and slam it in.
Bryant blocks.
Our entire careers lead up to this moment.
You want to win the series, time to do it today, right from the start.
Let's go, win! Washington has done it! We go into that! It was surreal. It was a surreal moment.
We got the next step in us. We'll be back here next year if you want to be back.
Welcome to the Washington Mystics.
We're hungry for a championship.
Let's go give them a hell of a show.
So you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms?
I don't know. I never met the guy. He does exist.
They do exist. Santa?
Today we had a free coaches clinic as part of Junior NBA Week. We had Terrell Christian, we had Landon Tatum, and we had Ryan Richmond come out and share their knowledge with high school AAU coaches from the community.
Big part of me. I think it's a big part of my philosophy of coaching. But I believe in order to be a good coach, you have to be a really good teacher. You have to buy into it. Basketball time. Right, so now we're here. What kind of passes can we make in this thing? So we just had a pocket pass, right, inside hand. What else can we do? Another big stop, and now you got to go over there. What's another round? If you can't complete these simple drills or simple maneuvers in a game, it's almost impossible to be successful unless you're an elite level athlete.
Anytime we can give back to the community, take the knowledge that our coaching staff has and share it with coaches who are dealing with high school kids or younger is great.
Being a basketball coach and being a teacher, learner is all about learning yourself and getting better every single day yourself, players included. Now as you dribble, this is a go, you're going to cut back door, that's a live cut, and you're going to go all the way out and you're going to dribble handoff. Good job. You got the toe Good job. Good. Good job.
At what age would you say you can't correct it, or should you just try to perfect that shot?
That's how you can probably fix a guy's shot is probably once they hit high school.
The reality is, at the pro level, they still teaching the basics, so I was encouraged by that.
Great to see the level of basketball from our coaches, and that's what we have to do. We all have to help each other because at the end of the day, we're all, I kind of alluded to, but we're all in the same game of learning and teaching and growing ultimately every day and helping our players get better.
I'm gonna shout it from the rooftop. Shout it. Tell everyone. Let's go. From the rooftop. This is the place for the best of the game. Oh, what a fool. Let them know hundreds of live games are at their fingertips. Go full season or month to month. Watch all the teams or your teams.
Welcome back to the Monumental Sports Network High School Basketball Showcase, powered by WGL, the future of energy, and providing you with energy answers. For more information, go to WGL.com on Monumental Sports Network and on Facebook. Dan Nolan, Neil Murphy here for an exciting basketball game between two WCAC schools that are quite familiar with solid basketball programs in the Stags and the Cadets. Right now it's the Stags on top by 9. What really was the reason why was a hot start by Hunter Dickinson. He went for 22 in the first quarter, 22 overall in that first half.
Well, you got Amani Hansberry. He's got 12. Hunter's got, would you say, 22?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's your difference right there. We let those two go one-on-one.
Hansberry, the talented freshman, number 15 in black. And fouled on the way was Ish Leggett, who didn't necessarily have a great first half, and neither did his counterpart, Earl Timberlake. Timberlake had 5, Leggett had 4. But overall, the story has been the play of the big men down low. Overall, 34 points for the big men between Dematha and St. John's. Leggett missed the first.
Yeah, if you're St. John's, obviously you're not happy you're down 9, but you take some consolation in the fact that your best player really hasn't gotten going. You know? And certainly if St. John's going to be successful this year, it's going to be on his back.
Second free throw is good for Leggett. So he's up to 5 for the game, and his last couple really big showdowns in the WCAC. He scored 15, 17, 15, 25, and 14 against Gonzaga, Paul VI, and Dorman in various matchups. Those are good numbers against good programs. Corner three-pointer for Hawkins doesn't go. He's been a second-half player in the games we've seen on Monumental Sports Network. Quick play and transition, behind the back dribble goes into the hands of Hawkins, so Dickinson will go the other way. Spin move, left-handed finish, and 1. And there you see the athleticism and agility on display from the big man.
The big fella leading the break with a pirouette in the lane, kissed it off the glass. Sometimes you're just having a day.
24 points for the Michigan commit, ranked as a top 40 top 40 prospect in the country as that free throw goes. Went for 21 over the weekend against Gonzaga. He went for 17 against Paul VI the week before that. He's shown up in big games in the WCAC. That miss is rebounded by Dickinson that time. Timberlake going the other way. He'll pull up from the left wing. Falls well short, offensive rebound into the hands of Hawkins, number 3 in gray. Timberlake will drive into the paint, finds his man, tough finish inside from Will Reynolds, number 5 in gray.
Good penetration by Timberlake, drew the help, caught Will Reynolds running down the lane for the layup.
So 4-0 run to start the third quarter. Hansberry gathers the basketball, tipped by Dickinson right into the hands of Square, and he hits the 3 off the glass. And a timeout called by St. John's. It's a 10-point lead.
10-point lead, but we're even on banked-in threes.
That's exactly right.
They've wiped each other out.
A reminder that the high school basketball showcase on Monumental Sports Network is brought to you by WGL. WGL, the future of energy, providing you with energy answers. For more information, go to WGL.com. We've seen some really good games, and this has to be up there with any of them in the WCAC that we've seen so far this season. A 10-point lead for Dematha, and Dematha's trying to do something that hasn't been done in nearly a decade, and that's finish the regular season undefeated and win in the WCAC postseason. The last time a team went undefeated in conference play was Paul VI just 2 seasons ago in 17-18, and went 18-0, did not win in the postseason. The last time it was done was by Paul VI. In 2011-2012, they went 18-0 in the regular season and won the WCAC postseason tournament. Corner three-pointer is up for Hawkins. That one does go.
Nice pass by Will Reynolds. A little bit of penetration against the zone, drew them in, found the good shooter in the corner.
So Hawkins' first 3 of the game. Leggett drives inside, somehow finds a way to get that one to go.
Senior's been a little more assertive here in the second half. Knows his team needs him.
Lead still 11. Three-pointer, Timberlake, in and out. Leggett is fouled on the way. May have leaned into that one a little bit. That was number 3, Elijah Hawkins, who was called for the foul.
Not a good possession by the Stags. You can always get the 3. So the quick 3, 5-on-5, probably not what Coach Jones wanted.
Nice assist from a fan in the front row, getting the basketball over to the official. Wilson guarded by Hawkins in the backcourt. 5:42 remaining in the third. They're trying to find the big man down low. They finally do. Turnaround fadeaway jump shot off the rim. No good. Rebounded by Timberlake. Timberlake finds Dickinson. He'll shoot from the top of the arc and doesn't go. His first missed 3 of the ball game.
Crowd kind of shocked that didn't roll in.
Drive inside. That's an easy charge called. Charge taken by number 3, Elijah Hawkins. That's good positioning on defense.
Got to be willing to stand in there if you're going to win a championship. Good help by Elijah Hawkins. Stags ball on the baseline.
That foul going against Christian Watson, number 11 in black. 2 fouls apiece in the half on Dematha and St. John's. And in the game now is Malik Mack, number 2 in black, the freshman. And Dickinson hands it off to Timberlake, who gathers it. Hawkins drives into the paint, left-handed layup.
Nice little curl around the screen, took it all the way to the rim, finished with a left hand.
So that's 5 points in the third quarter for Hawkins, and we've seen this a couple times from him where it takes him a half to really start warming up. Timberlake with the reach around pokes the ball out of bounds. 18 seconds on the shot clock. You see the student section in all white supporting their guys. Turnaround, right-handed hook. That one doesn't go, so a couple of misses now for number 15, Amani Hansberry. Hawkins to Timberlake to Dickinson, and he misses the dunk. Boy, he's been good all day, but
I think he's a little tired from all of his dunks so far. Great pass by Timberlake.
Looked like he may have gotten the trailing block. Dickinson did. Now going the other way is Dematha, and Timberlake gets the basketball guarded by Leggett. He's really swinging at that basketball. And he just gets it to Dickinson, but they're going to say he was out of bounds before the dunk. So a little bit of sloppy play here in this third quarter.
Yeah, Dematha's getting the ball inside. The big guy at the rim. You got to like that. 0 for 2 on those possessions, though.
So a couple of turnovers. Still a 13-point lead for the Stags. And the Cadets looking for a little bit of separation potentially in the WCAC standings. They're currently in third at 13-5, a half game back of Paul VI, and 1 game up on Gonzaga. Dematha in the top spot. That foul going against Dickinson. It'll be Hansberry going to the line.
Dematha with a busy schedule coming up. Big one on Sunday at Paul VI that Monumental will cover.
That's right. Monumental Sports Network's last regular season boys basketball game will be this Sunday, February 16th. It's a good one, as Neil mentioned. That was an outstanding student section response to a free throw. Hansberry misses it.
Well, anytime you have the Mike Jones fathead in the crowd, you got to figure it's on your side.
You know, second one's no good. The fans love it. My favorite fathead that's randomly in there. So you've got head coach Mike Jones, and they get players in there every once in a while. And then there's lacrosse star Paul Rabel, former Dematha grad, that has a fathead in that crowd. Leggett from distance hits the 3. Quick 3 points there for St. John's. Lead is now down to 10. So Leggett is starting to really warm up here in the second half. At 6 points in the third quarter. That foul going against Watson. He's got a couple in this quarter. Checking into the game now are number 15 for Dematha, Tyrell Ward, and I believe it is number 1 for St. John, Shane Lancaster. And that's a quick and not a smart foul on the perimeter by Ish Leggett.
A couple of quick whistles here. Game getting a little physical. Referee's trying to clean it up a little bit.
That's 4 team fouls now on St. John's. Not a lot of foul trouble in the first half for either team, but second half, already 7 fouls called in this third quarter. Another three-pointer. That one's no good from Dickinson, and the rebound is there. Putback no good, and they're going to say it's 2 shots coming up for Hawkins, and they're going to call that foul on Shane Lancaster.
Good effort by Jordan Hawkins. He got in there, missed a little chippy, but stayed with it, got the tip. Referee's going to give him 2 shots.
Jordan Hawkins has had some good games in WCAC play at 22 against O'Connell on Monumental Sports Network, 17 against Paul VI. That first free throw good. He's got offers from Marquette, Seton Hall, Xavier, among other schools.
Really developing a reputation as a second half player.
To Neal's point, he's got 7 in this third quarter, 9 for the game. Leggett from the top of the key. Front of the rim, Hansberry gets the rebound, throws it up at the hoop, and it goes in, his first bucket of the second half. And the steal and finish from Leggett, that's a big 4-point swing.
Staggs a little bit careless with the ball.
That's another foul well beyond the 3-point arc. That time it's Malik Mack, and that's 16 fouls now already on St. John's. Definitely something to keep an eye on, Neal.
And if you're St. John's, you notice most of those are called by the same referee.
That area right where they're really standing on the sideline, and a whistle blows. Looks like it may have been a late substitution. The officials are going to say that he can't come in because play had started. So number 4 in black, Logan Blair, is going to have to hang tight for now.
Monty Hansberry kind of limped off a little bit there. Wow.
Left-handed layup, nice finish from Timberlake, and a little jawing after with Leggett.
As I say, that was a big boy move.
7 points now for Timberlake. Leggett, guarded by Timberlake. You have a feeling these two are going to want to go at it on the basketball court. 3-pointer, that one is good for Square Jr., his second 3.
Mikey Square really good at that pick and pop. Obviously, Leggett's going to draw a crowd. He can square up and knock it down.
Timberlake looking for a pick. Dishes it to the corner. Ward towing that baseline, and he is going to get called out of bounds on the drive. It'll be St. John's basketball. Now the lead down to 7.
Getting a little bit tighter, and certainly Hunter Dickinson on the bench. St. John's figures this would be the time to make a move.
So anytime and a whistle blows, and they're going to look at Leggett, and I wonder if this is going to be a technical foul. We've seen a lot of jawing between number 0, Earl Timberlake for Dematha, and number 5, Ish Leggett of St. John's. And so, I'm not sure if a technical foul is being called or if it's real. And
he made the tee. Gary Stein talking to Coach Jones.
Right. Now, in this situation, you wonder if they're going to call a double technical on both of them, if both coaches are being brought.
Neither coach looks happy. I'm going to figure that's it. And sometimes that's the fair thing to do.
We've seen
in terms of knock it off, put him in jail, you get the extra foul.
Right. We saw a 3-pointer from Ish Leggett and then some jawing to Earl Timberlake. Timberlake came down, had a nice finish at the hoop. He returned the favor. And he's explaining it to the scores table. No free throws occurring right now. So it looks like no fouls were called.
They had the big conversation. He held up his tee, and then Gary Stein kind of waved, I'm not calling anything.
So a turnover after Leggett loses the handle, and now a technical foul is called. Who is that going against? That's going against Timberlake.
And you have to be a little smarter than that. I don't know what was said, but certainly the referee said this is enough. We think they called the double technical, or at least they called the coaches again and said, hey, we got to stop this. So both these guys are under a microscope now. All right? Can't happen. They may not watch the other 8 guys, but they're going to watch those 2 guys.
So right after the meeting between the 2 coaches, it appeared as though Timberlake may have said a little something. Technical foul called against him. Leggett goes to the free throw line. He makes 1 of 2. 2 substitutions coming into the game now, including number 1, Hunter Dickinson for Dematha, and number 11, Christian Watson for St. John's. One thing that you did mention earlier, Neil, that we haven't had a chance to really touch on is number 15, Amani Hansberry. He's on the bench right now. No one working on him, but he's holding that right leg. And we'll see if and when he comes back into this ball game. That would be a big loss in the post if he's unable to return. Mack drives into the trees and gets swatted away by Dickinson. And they're going to say it's a fresh shot clock as there was a change of possession. Nice move at the hoop. What a finish from Shane Lancaster. Lead is down to 6 with 1:08 remaining in the third quarter.
Expensive technical foul there because the Stags had the ball on the break. St. John's made 1 of the 2 foul shots and then scored.
Timberlake continually asking for picks. And that one tipped by the freshman, still in the hands of Dematha. Timberlake swings it to the corner. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Timberlake's going to have to throw it up. He does. He gets called for the charge. So a tough couple of minutes, a technical foul, and now an offensive foul for Earl Timberlake.
Tough sequence for the senior. He's got to get to the bench, compose himself. Dematha's going to need him in the fourth quarter.
So he checks out of the game. Checking into the game is number 3, Elijah Hawkins. And St. John's has a chance to cut into this lead even further. 3-pointer from the corner, doesn't go. Rebound collected by number 2, Donovan Miller. It is a 4-point game with under 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And what was once a 13-point lead for Dematha has shrunk dramatically. They're going to hold for the last shot of this quarter. Hawkins guarded tightly by Mack. 3 seconds remaining. Tough jump shot, doesn't go. Tip for Ward isn't there. And a big-time comeback with a little intensity from both teams in the third quarter. It's now a 4-point game. Stags still on top of the Cadets. You're watching the High School Basketball Showcase powered by WGL on Monumental Sports Network. Fourth quarter action coming up after this. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to Hyattsville, Maryland. We're at Dematha Catholic High School. It's a WCAC showdown. Dematha and St. John's on the Monumental Sports Network High School Basketball Showcase powered by WGL. WGL, the future of energy. It was a 13-point lead for the Stags, Neil. And then St. John's was able to cut it to just 4 points heading into the final quarter. Big reason why Ish Leggett, just 4 points in that first half. He went for 9 points in the third quarter.
St. John's, great comeback there. They're down 13. You figure maybe Dematha can run away with this one, but St. John's hung in there, and then Dematha helped them out a little bit. A couple of missed dunks inside. Obviously the costly. It should be 7-1-1. So the costly technical foul gets them right back in the game.
Now that foul being called on number 15, Amani Hansberry, who is back in the game, was holding that right leg earlier, appears to be good enough to get back in. So it would be Dickinson going to the line. We mentioned the fouls in the third quarter. A lot more were called in this third quarter than there were in the previous two. Dickinson hits his first free throw. He's now up to 26 points for the game, 20 of them coming in the first quarter. An absolutely red-hot start for him. So 17 fouls now for St. John's. 5 team fouls for Dematha as Dickinson hits them both.
Nice touch by the senior.
Ish Leggett, guarded by Jordan Hawkins, number 24 in gray. Number 5 in black, feeds inside. That's going to be 2 free throws coming up for Hansberry as he worked his way to the basket.
Great pass by Leggett off the screen roll. Dematha was able to come over and help, but just fouled. Freshman will go to the line for 2.
Where have you found Hansberry is the most impressive in terms of how good he is as just a freshman?
Well, I think it's a number of things, but certainly the ability to convert those shots inside. He posts up really well, he's physical, but then eventually you got to ring the bell. You got to put the ball in the basket, and he's been able to do that.
He's struggled from the free throw line and hasn't hit as many of those post opportunities in the second half as he now has missed his last 4 free throws. And he's faced with the unenviable task of guarding a 7+ foot center and Hunter Dickinson. Hawkins drives inside. Can't finish at the hoop though.
Tough move, just wasn't able to knock it down. Got all the way to the rim.
Going the other way, Malik Mack, number 2 in black. Left elbow jumper off the iron. Donovan Miller collects it. 6-point lead for the Stags at home. Dickinson looking for someone. Can't find anyone, so he'll take it to the paint. They're going to say he was fouled and count the bucket. Dickinson didn't find any of his teammates, so he said, I'll go ahead and take care of it myself.
Well, we talked about some of the games. He thought he was a stretch 4, and then he became a 3. Now he thinks he's a point guard, but it all seems to be working tonight.
Pick a number, any number. He can play the position. It's a nice move from Dickinson, and again, it was 50-46 after 3 quarters, and now Dickinson with 5 straight points.
Couple of good possessions for the senior. Dematha was a little bit rocky there. He would step up and make plays.
Dish to the corner. 3-point attempt hits every part of the rim, but doesn't go into the basket. That'll be Dematha basketball after the rebound was tipped out of bounds. Checking out of the game is number 24, Jordan Hawkins. Checking into the game is number 12, Jacoy Hutchinson for Dematha.
St. John's back in their zone.
Lead back up to 9 for Dematha. Ward. Guarded tightly on the perimeter. Miller will reset. Now down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Corner 3-point attempt, about as open as it gets. Misses. Rebound collected by Square Jr. Nice pass up ahead and lost the handle, did Christian Watson, but good vision by Manzi Wilson.
Good hustle by Christian. Got ahead of the field. He was open, just couldn't bring it in. Pass a little low.
So 6:09 remaining in regulation. St. John's worked their way back from a 13-point deficit, cut the lead down to 4 at the end of 3, but 5 straight points from Hunter Dickinson has pushed the lead back to 9.
St. John's in their zone again, but they really stretch it out where they're guarding.
Maybe they need to focus back inside, Neil. That's another easy dunk from Dickinson.
The disadvantage of extending the zone, they forgot about the 7-footer. All right, great look inside. You know, one thing Dematha hasn't really done is attack the zone. That time they did, and it paid off.
So a timeout is called, and that's a 7-0 run for Hunter Dickinson. He had 20 in the first quarter. He's got 7 in the fourth quarter. He also had 4 points in between in the second and third, but we're going to ignore those, right?
Well, we talked about Ish Leggett being the senior, stepping up for his team. Coach Jones says, I got a senior who's pretty good too.
So if you're keeping track at home, that is 32 points for Hunter Dickinson. That is outstanding. I said it was a, excuse me. It is a 7-0 run and 32 points for the senior. And how has he done it? Because it seems like he's been all over the place on offense.
If he were still being recruited, this is the highlight film you send out to people. He's done it all. He's had some great passes. He's rebounding down the one end. He's hit the outside shot. He's been making moves, stationary moves where he's penetrated from the perimeter off the shot fake, and he's had the post-ups inside. Not much more you can ask for.
And it's a big reason why Dematha's been able to push this lead back out to 11 points.
And he also seems to be playing with fire, but more of an even keel, where sometimes we've seen him go up and down, kind of ride the wave, really high sometimes, and other times you could see things were getting to him. He's been very focused, and also you watch him, he's directing the younger players on what to do. That's what you want out of your seniors.
In terms of an offensive performance, this might be the best one we've seen outside of his game against Rancho Christian at the Hoop Hall Classic.
I think he had 28 there. I don't think he's ever been in the 30s that I can remember.
Three-pointer's good for the freshman. How about that? The centers are making it rain.
What an answer by the freshman.
Number 15, Hansberry, is now up to 17 points himself. Deep three-pointer, no good. A transition opportunity for Wilson, collects it, may have been pushed. No foul called. It's going the other way. Dickinson, he knows what to do with it.
Good look ahead by the Stags. We'll say Hunter sprinted down there before everybody else.
Foul called underneath. So free throws coming for St. John's.
That was on Donovan Miller, I believe. Hunter Dickinson with good sportsmanship, helping up Ish Liggett.
You know, I score 30-plus points in the game. I usually have pretty good sportsmanship, too.
He's in a good mood. Life is good.
You know, I don't know if it's the student section or St. John's is just a little bit off, but the free throw shooting has not been good in this game.
I still think it's the Mike Jones fathead. Actually, I coach Mike. This is the only time he's ever played any defense. That's his first career stop.
Free throw is good for Ish Leggett. He's up to 14 points. Mike Jones' defense couldn't hold him back there. Foul on the way, so 1-and-1 coming up. That's 19 fouls for St. John's. 17 fouls for Dematha. Still 4:53 remaining in the fourth quarter. And look, St. John's hasn't shot great from the free throw line, but now it is of paramount importance from both teams. They need to shoot free throws at a high rate and well to end this game.
Well, Dematha's shooting here. You know, missed shots, it's just like a turnover.
And there's a missed free throw, so possession St. John's. Manzi Wilson, number 3 in black. He's played solid in this game. Facilitator, just 4 points, but a number of good passes. Leggett can't find anyone, needs to get rid of it. He does. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Tough elbow jump shot goes for Wilson.
That is his game. He's short in stature, but he hits those shots, gets in, doesn't go all the way to the rim, hits the little baby jumpers.
Lead down to 7. Dickinson guarded beyond the arc by Hansberry. Ward gets it to Hawkins. Timberlake now trying to feed Dickinson, and a little bit too strong off the backboard. Rebound, no good. Rebound, no good. Ball tipped out. Who's it going to go to? It's Dematha's with a fresh shot clock, so this will be their 4th opportunity on this possession, and they'll reset the offense.
Good effort by the Stags. A little bit of volleyball there. They weren't able to knock it down, but they regained possession and another 30 seconds.
Under 4 minutes remaining in regulation, and that is not what you want to see if you're St. John's. That's a foul on Wilson. 2 free throws coming up. It's the double bonus now for Dematha.
Yeah, this is a big moment in Elijah Hawkins' life. He's the point guard on a pretty good team. They're going to figure to have the lead in a lot of games. You need your point guard to make his foul shots.
He's got offers from IUPUI and Wyoming. A starter for a Dematha team that has not lost since December 14th. First free throw is no good. Again, this kind of winning in the WCAC, we haven't seen it in a couple years since Paul VI went 18-0 in WCAC play in 2017-2018. Second free throw is good for Hawkins.
Good ball there. 60-52, 3:51 to go.
So you're St. John's. Is there a certain player you go to? Do you try to feed it inside to Hansberry, or you just keep letting Leggett and Wilson kind of direct traffic?
I think Leggett's going to make things happen.
Square gets bumped by Dickinson. Opts to pass it. Nice fake. Fade away. Doesn't go. Rebound is collected, though, by St. John's. Second chance. Good and one for Christian Watson.
Christian Watson, big rebound, nice finish, and might have told Hunter Dickinson after he made it that the basket was good and he was fouled.
This St. John's squad keeps fighting back. Even in some of their losses to some of the big teams, they've been single digits and they've been dogfights. Free throw is no good. The free throw struggles continue for the Cadets, but a nice two-point make off the offensive rebound.
It'd be interesting to look after the game and see all the stats.
Dickinson.
Tough move.
Throws that right
Barely
in.
avoiding the charge. Ishlig had stuck his nose in there, was willing to take it. Referee said, no, get up and play.
A little stare down at the end as well. A lot of dribbling right now for Manzi Wilson. Finally gets it to Leggett. Leggett drives inside. Two men there.
Wow.
Splits the double team and gets it to go.
Big time move there.
16 points now for Ish Leggett. That's usually the point threshold between wins and losses. St. John's is right in this one. 6-point deficit. Timberlake decides to shoot from distance. Wow. Gets that one to go. How about that three-pointer? The confidence of the senior to step back and hit that one from three.
His outside shot has struggled. We're at the pinnacle of the game. Every play matters at this point. Pulls it up, strokes the three, nothing but net.
So with that three-pointer, the lead for Dematha back up to 9 points. 10 points now for Earl Timberlake. The story has been down low, and Hunter Dickinson having a career day. He is now up to 34 points. 9 of them in the fourth quarter, 20 of them in the first quarter. He's been outstanding. So has Amani Hansberry. He has 17 points tonight. Got a lot of twos, 1 3 sprinkled in there. But for the guards, we've seen as the second half has progressed, 2 guys that have stepped up their game. Earl Timberlake recovering from a tough third quarter for him in the fourth. And then on the other side, Ish Leggett, now up to 16 points. He only had 4 in that first half.
Well, again, he's been through the wars. He's their leader. He makes things happen. Not only is he scoring, he's getting the other guys involved, finding them shots that they can hit. But he certainly is the key. And by the way, next year when he goes up to Rhode Island, he'll play for Coach David Cox, who is a St. John's grad, I believe class of 92, 93, somewhere in there. Had a great career at William & Mary. Actually taught at St. John's for a while. It might have been dean of discipline or whatever, and now obviously very successful as a college coach.
The DMV connections are everywhere in the game of basketball, as well as academia. Nice feed inside, just outside the reach of Mikey Square Jr. And they're going to say it was out of bounds on Dematha.
No replay in high school.
So
Tommy Hunter, the referee's got a call. He's saying it was off Dematha. Oh, little conversation. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You really sure? Okay.
Not sure about that call, but the officials have ruled it to be official. And they're a nice finish inside. So how about that turnaround? Looked like it may have been out of bounds on St. John's. Leggett makes him pay with a 2.
Nobody seems to be able to get in front of Ish Leggett at this point in the game.
Dickinson will feed it to Hawkins off of his foot. And so it'll go to St. John's. And this is an interesting point in the game. There's 2:10 remaining in regulation. 7-point lead for the Stags. But the Cadets have shown they have been in this one the entire second half.
A lot of time left. A lot of time.
Leggett has been outstanding in the second half. Guarded tightly. He'll decide to pull up from 3. Misses everything on that one. You wonder if that was a heat check for him after building a lot of momentum on the previous possessions. And so now Timberlake tries to feed it to Dickinson. It's stolen. Wilson in transition. Left-handed layup is good. Lead is now down to 5. Timeout called. So we're looking at the St. John's huddle right now, Neil. You know, how are they back in this game? How have they been able to stay in this contest despite some really good performances from some of the biggest stars for Dematha?
Certainly defense has gotten better. Great job there. They tried to force the ball to Hunter Dickinson. Earl Timberlake didn't see the third defender coming up to steal that, right? They're not running their offense. And then down the other end, there's Liggett. No one can stop him. No one can get in front. He's getting all the way to the rim, finishes on either side. St. John's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
January 9th, Dematha went to Washington, D.C. to play St. John's. They ended up winning that game 68-62. Well, right now, the script is looking pretty similar. It's a 65-60 lead this time for the Stags. Cadets are right in it after that last basket. It will be Stags basketball after this timeout is over. And so we've discussed St. John's, but Dematha, where do they go on offense here? Clearly they want to milk a little bit of time.
Well, I think they got to go. They have to run their offense. They're kind of in that role where they come up. They're more worried about the clock. They're running the offense. They're going to have to score a couple baskets here or maybe go to the foul line, but I don't think 65 is going to win this game. So just to be worried about running 30 seconds off the clock, I don't know if that's going to get it done. And this way, St. John's, if they know you're not trying to score, they're just going for the steal.
And they've had a couple steals in the last couple possessions.
Certainly, if you're Coach Jones, you'd like to run a set, maybe give Hunter Dickinson the ball down on the block where he can score or get a foul.
And he's just hanging around at the top of the key. Meanwhile, Timberlake is trying to find a way to work the pick and roll. Corner three-pointer nearly took it. 8 seconds on the shot clock now. Timberlake with the basketball in his hands. He'll pull up from way downtown. Rattles in and out. Rebound collected by Wilson. Splits the double team. He's going all the way to the hoop. Feeds Leggett. The lead is down to 3. Unbelievable. 1 minute remaining. Down by as many as 13 in the second half. St. John's has cut the lead down
Look
to 3.
Look for a post-up for Dickinson.
Dickinson gets fed inside. Easy one off the glass. Good call from you, Neil.
I think everybody in the gym knew that one was coming.
11 points in the fourth quarter for Hunter Dickinson. A new career high for him. Fouled on the way up was the freshman, Amani Hansberry. Now, this is where it gets interesting. 36.4 seconds remaining. 5-point deficit. Hansberry, along with the rest of St. John's, have really struggled from the free throw line. 2 huge free throws coming up for the freshman.
But what I've seen so far, there are certain players that as you get down to crunch time, their percentages go out the window. I'm thinking he's going to make 2. He just seems to have that kind of a motor.
And first free throw rattles. Doesn't go in. He's got that high arcing release on those free throws.
One of the problems with the high arc is it almost has to be perfect. It hits any rim, it's coming down with a lot of force. Dematha needs to block out on this one. 1 for 2.
That one goes. Hansberry up to 18 points in tonight's game. He's been the engine for St. John's in that first half. Second half, it's been all Ish Leggett. And Hawkins in transition opts to bring it back out. Smart move from the junior. And that's a foul now. And Timberlake will shoot 2 free throws. Next foul for Dematha, by the way, will also be 2 free throws, as they have 9 team fouls right now. Shot clock turned off for the rest of regulation. And it'll be Earl Timberlake, 10 points tonight. He'll hit the first.
Here's where your practice habits come into play. I'm sure both these teams, and in every practice, they do their time and score situation, where they're aware of their foul situation, their timeout situations, what to do, whether they're giving a foul, whether they're going to give the 3 or contest the 3. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
Second free throw is good, so Timberlake hits them both. Lead is up to 6. So now you're down 6 points, St. John's. How much time do they have, and what kind of shots do they look for?
Well, I think what you're going to do is Manzi Wilson, he's going to go right at the rim. If there's help, kick it out to the open shooter for 3 or take the layup. One thing St. John's really has to do is score in this possession. Nope, timeout.
Whistle is blown. And I'm not quite sure what happened there.
I think it's a clock situation.
They're looking at either the clock or the possession arrow. I'm not sure which. Oh, it's where they inbound the basketball. Excuse me. So out of the timeout, they were meant to inbound the basketball at half court instead of at the baseline. So 29.6 seconds put back on the clock. And here we go. Wilson gets it to Leggett. Timberlake gets the steal. In transition, it's Timberlake! Your Mountain Dew Kickstart play of the game. Timberlake with the steal and the slam to ice this game. 10 seconds remaining. How about that? Earl Timberlake had a tough third quarter, and in this fourth quarter, he made big play after big play. A step-back three-pointer, a couple free throws, and a slam in transition leads to an 8-point victory for Dematha, 71-63.
Got to be happy for the senior. As we said, rough third quarter, but that's why you like your seniors to be there. They've been through the wars. They can fall back on their old history. They're not going to fall apart under pressure. Some big plays by Earl coming down the home stretch.
36 points tonight for Hunter Dickinson to lead all scorers. He was outstanding. Down the stretch, it was the play of Earl Timberlake that really iced the game. He had 14 overall. On the other end, Ish Leggett leading St. John's with 20 points. Amani Hansberry with 18. Once again, your final score, 71-63. The Stags keep their winning streak alive, up to 20 now. And they'll look to keep going. Remember to tune in to Monumental Sports Network on Sunday for another big-time WCAC showdown. It's Dematha against Paul VI. Until then, an 8-point victory for the Stags. For Neil Murphy, I'm Dan Nolan. We'll see you next time on Monumental Sports Network's High School Basketball Showcase, powered by WGL. Good night, everyone.